Thank you, Rhonda. And thank you, everyone, for showing up. I am so excited to offer this sneak peek of A Lotus on Fire. I'm still getting used to holding the book in my hands. It's just, the culmination of a lot of work and a dream. And so I'll be formally launching A Lotus on Fire early in April. The first in-person launch for those that live here in Lethbridge will be at Analog Books on April the 12th. So supporting our independent bookstores. So it has been a very long journey with lots of ups and downs along the way, including, as some of you know, a serious accident that in a lot of ways brought me face to face with my own mortality, and yet also reminded me of the precious gift of life. So this spiritual memoir was sparked by a moment of awakening with Vietnamese master Thich Nhat Hanh. And it describes how that moment of awakening ripples through my life into other moments of awakening to the simple wonder and miracle of everyday life. A lot of you know that Thich Nhat Hanh is a much loved and revered Buddhist teacher all around the world. And he's inspired millions of people with his teachings and practices of mindful attention and engaged action for peace. Thich teaches that peace must begin with ourselves. In order to create peace in the world, we must be peace. So today I invite you into one of Thich's meditations for being peace, using one of his popular breathing gathas or mantras. So I invite you to get yourself comfortable, whether you're sitting in a chair or sitting on a cushion, whatever's most comfortable for you. If you're sitting in a chair, it's nice to have your feet on the ground to feel that sense of connection to the earth and honoring our indigenous ancestors of the earth in gratitude. And we might, just to get a little comfortable, just start by gently rocking side to side and just feel that shift of weight. We're bringing a little bit of attention into our body, beginning to bring our awareness to our body and our breath. And then we might come back to center. Take a deep cleansing breath. So breathe in through your nostrils, pause a moment. And as you exhale again, let that weight just settle into your chair or your cushion. And then try rocking forwards and backwards a little tiny bit, almost like you're in a rocking chair. And so rocking is very soothing to our nervous system. So it's a nice way to begin our meditation, to just begin to let go of the day and find that soothing movement. And then come back to center again. Take a deep breath in, that gift of breath and life. And as you exhale, once more, that sense of the weight of your body settling into the cushion or chair held by the earth. And just finding your natural breath. And the same time that we're settling, there's also a lengthening up of our spine a little bit, as if you're sitting a little bit taller. You might want to take a few circles of your shoulder to release any tension from your shoulders or your upper back there. Just notice how your shoulders feel. And then let the shoulders just release down. Rest your hands in your lap. And finally, take a moment to just gently turn your head from side to side. You're both stretching out the neck here, but also being aware of your surroundings, the place where you find yourself in your home or workplace, wherever you are. And then bring the head back to center. Take another deep breath in. Long, slow exhale. And if you like, closing your eyes, beginning to direct awareness inwards. And in the tradition of Plum Village, we always begin our meditation with 3 sounds of the bell, inviting us home and inviting us into sacred space together. So let's listen to 3 sounds of the bell. And so bring your awareness to just the feeling, the sensation of your breath. Breathing in, aware that you're breathing in, breathing out, aware that you're breathing out. In, out. And so just feeling the sensation of your breath, perhaps feeling the sensation of the breath in and out through the nostrils. And it's helpful to help with our focus, perhaps saying silently on your in-breath in, and silently on your in-breath out. This simple connection of our mind and body and breath. Now you might follow the journey of your breath all the way down into your belly. As you breathe in, feeling the belly gently expand. And as you breathe out, feeling a softening of the belly inwards. And the next breathing gata is breathing in, deep. Breathing out slow. Deep as you breathe in. Slow as you breathe out. And knowing that there's nothing that you have to make happen here. Your breath will naturally deepen and slow down as you bring your loving awareness to your breath. Deep, slow. Breathing in calm, breathing out with ease. As you breathe in, imagine breathing in that calm, peaceful energy. As you breathe out, notice if there's a place in your body that feels tight or tense or restless. And just have a sense of softening that place in your body, releasing any tension. Breathing in calm, breathing out ease to your body. Breathing in, I smile. Breathing out, I release. Finding a soft smile, both the outer and inner smile. And just releasing any thoughts or whatever is showing up for you. We just learn to smile and be with our experience exactly as it is. Smile, release. So I hope that gave you a small taste of this sense of being together in meditation and using some of Thai's teachings and gathas to help guide us in our practice. So this book has been incubating and gestating for a very long time. I met Thich Nhat Hanh at a large retreat out at UBC in Vancouver back in 2011, just after my mother had passed away from ovarian cancer. And so, as you can imagine, my heart was in a very fragile state. And I just wanted some quiet time alone to be with the sadness and the grief. So when I first arrived and realized that there were over 800 people, it was a huge retreat at UBC, I almost left. But something whispered in my ear to just stay and breathe. So slowly I fell into the rhythm of this 5-day retreat, waking up early for meditation, listening to Thai's Dharma talks, sharing in smaller Dharma family groups, long naps in the afternoon, and chanting and readings from the Plum Village tradition, and nourished by absolutely delicious vegetarian food. So I let myself be held by the energy of 800 people meditating and living mindfully together in community, or Sangha, as it's called in Buddhism. And finally, towards the end of this 5-day retreat, there was a time when I was sitting very close to Thai. And I'll just describe it briefly here. The full description is in my book. But as I looked up, Thai was looking directly at me. And as my gaze met his, it felt like he was looking right into my soul. And it really felt like I was looking into the eyes of the Buddha or the Christ or a great being. And a feeling of love such that I had never known welled up in me. It was like time seemed to stand still in that moment until the sound of the bell penetrated my awareness. I literally floated out of the meditation hall that day. And so, as you can imagine, this seemingly mystical experience of what I call awakening affected me deeply. And like most mystical experiences, it was difficult to put into words, yet I knew that somehow I needed to keep the memory, the feeling of this state alive and allow it to continue to reveal itself to me. I've had a regular writing and journaling practice for many years, and so journaling and writing became my way of processing this experience. I began to write letters to Thai in my journal, filled with my thoughts and doubts and stories and my memories of my mother, all woven together around this moment with Thai. And this one moment with Thai expanded into other moments. I became a kind of Thai groupie. I followed Thai to other retreats around North America and all the way over to Plum Village, his monastery in southern France. And then so slowly over the years, I began to realize that these letters helped connect the dots for me. They created a larger overarching story that helped me make sense of this moment and all the other moments that we usually miss because we're too busy with life. As I reread the letters in my journal, I had the feeling that this experience with Thai was not for me alone. Like a lot of spiritual experiences, these moments transform us at very deep levels. They are a gift, and they are meant to be shared, whether through words or songs or poems or art or actions in the world or just our loving presence. Our intimate personal stories are really part of a larger universal story that becomes a kind of collective wisdom for us all. And so the experience with Thich, the spark, kindled the writing of this book, A Lotus on Fire, How a Buddhist Monk Ignited My Heart. So the passage that I've chosen to read today takes place after this experience of looking in Thai's eyes as I return to my dormitory. And I still have that spaced out, floaty feeling of love that I've just felt. And the chapter is called The Vow of My Heart. I'm just going to find it here. I'm still getting familiar where to find things in my book. And this part starts with a quote by Krishna Das. And Krishna Das, if you know him, is a well-known musician and chanting teacher. And in this quote, he's talking about his own experience of awakening in the presence of his teacher, Neem Karoli Baba, or Maharaji. And this is a quote from his book, Chants of a Lifetime. And Barbara, perhaps I'll invite you to start sharing the pictures. Perfect. Krishna Das says, everyone, oops, nope, back to the window. Thanks. Everyone I saw was filled with beauty and love. There was no distance between us. There was no hurry. There was all the time in the world to be there and feel this love. It wasn't my love, and it wasn't Maharaji's love. He was not different from this presence that surrounded everything. The whole world was filled by this vast presence and deep sweetness. And so back to my dormitory. I stand there, gazing dreamily out the small window of my room at the patch of blue sky beyond. Time seems very fluid. A thought slowly arises like a tiny bubble from my consciousness. I remember that Sister Tawai, our Dharma family teacher, has invited us to consider taking the 5 mindfulness trainings, Plum Village's version of the Buddhist precepts. This is a commitment in a formal ceremony in front of the whole community to universal Buddhist ethics that help one live a life in harmony with oneself, one's community, and the world. The ceremony will take place early tomorrow morning on our final day of retreat. In order to receive the 5 mindfulness trainings, we need to write a short but formal letter of request to Thich. Although I hadn't been sure I wanted to take them before this morning, there is now absolutely no doubt in my mind and heart that I want to receive these precious trainings. In our letter, we are to answer the question, what is your deep aspiration for receiving these trainings? I sit down and begin to write. And so we can take the next picture now, Barb, please. Ah. Dear Ty, after receiving your beautiful gaze, I feel like my heart has been awakened to a love that is beyond boundaries. Anything and everything is possible. As I consider the 5 mindfulness trainings, I feel a renewed sense of passion and calling. The seeds I have watered with my practice and my prayers are ready to grow and bear fruit. I feel a deep sense of gratitude for my Christian community that has nurtured me all my life, but also a deep sense of calling to share the practices of mindfulness and holy attention that seems to have been lost from so many Christian churches. Through my yoga practice, I have been blessed with teachers from many different traditions and have come to see the rich thread of oneness in them all. It puzzles me that others cannot see this simple truth. My heart yearns for peace and to create bridges of understanding between people of different faith traditions. I believe it is the practice of holy attention and deep listening with compassion that will make it so. This past year has been interwoven with both sorrow and joy. My mother was diagnosed with cancer in March and passed away in early July. I was able to create space in the busyness of my life to simply be with her, to listen to her stories of both joy and suffering, to witness her pain, both physical and emotional, to hold her hand, to pray with her, to breathe with her. Somehow, I was able to be with her suffering and not be overwhelmed. I felt as if all my years of practice had come together to be with my mother as she took her very last breath. And now, all my years of practice and seeking have come together in this moment with you. All my doubts and questions seemingly dissolved. A healing and transformation has taken place at some level which I cannot fully fathom or understand yet. My awakened heart is overflowing with gratitude, and I make a formal request to receive the 5 mindfulness trainings in front of the entire community at tomorrow's ceremony. With love and gratitude, Vickie MacArthur. And so the next section, and Barb, we can change the picture now. This section is called Don't Kiss and Tell. And this is a picture of a Dharma family gathering where we have time to share about our lives and our practice. Later that afternoon, I slowly walked to the place where our Dharma family group has been meeting all week. It still seems like I am walking in slow motion, keenly aware of the breeze caressing my skin and that feeling of lightness in every step. Sister Twae begins with 3 sounds of the bell to help quiet our minds and still our bodies. We sit in a comfortable circle of silence, and when ready, bring our hands together in front of our heart and bow as a way of indicating we would like to share. A few others share about their day and their practice, yet I am completely unaware of what they are saying. A myriad of thoughts and images has arisen from my mystical experience this morning, and I can hardly contain myself. I bow in, and these thoughts and images pour out of my mouth in a mostly incoherent stream of phrases like meeting Ty's eyes, feeling peaceful, light, spacious, feeling like Ty could see into my very soul. I hear myself talk about the image of the woman from the Bible touching the hem of Christ's garment, and my feeling like the question of my heart had been answered in silence. As I finally look around at the people around me, I am met with confused and questioning looks. My mind is still not functioning in its usual way, but I am aware that I have somehow blurted out a holy, sacred experience that has not been fully processed, let alone ready to be shared. As I look up at Sister Twy and meet her gentle gaze, I know right away that she understands, and that gives me some solace. I consider staying afterwards to talk to her, but when the final bell sounds, I slip out of the room and back to my dorm. I want to be by myself in silence, to shed the layers of self-judgment I now feel, and to sink back into that place of complete and utter love and acceptance I had felt this morning. So Barb, we can stop the screen share now. Wow. It just feels so amazing to be reading this and sharing this with you. And such a beautiful and safe and nurturing audience. So I want to share a little bit about spiritual life writing. Part of my reason for writing this book is to encourage others to share their stories. A Lotus on Fire is part of a growing genre called spiritual life writing, which is inspired and championed by my editor and mentor, Susan Scott. Some of you know her from our Awakening Spirituality webinars that she does. And Susan says that spiritual life writing helps uncover powerful, transformative stories that inspire change both in ourselves and in society. Spiritual life writing is integrative work that invites the whole self in: body, sensation, thoughts, feelings, memories, all of our experience, both profane and sacred. All is welcome. nothing is censored. And through spiritual life writing, we are all invited to be both storyteller and listener, shedding whatever judgments and fears make us hold our tongues or cover our ears. These are stories that need to come out into the light of day. And so this has been quite a vulnerable experience for me, both in the writing and now in the offering out. I'm sharing such a tender, intimate part of my inner life and experience. And yet, I believe that there's something healing in that, both for myself and for those that are listening. And so I thought, as part of our time together, that we might do a short writing practice. And I think I forgot to tell you at the beginning to have a journal or a pen and paper ready. So hopefully you have something close by. And so my question for you is to recall a time when you felt a sense of awakening to something beyond your normal everyday experience. And it happens in so many ways. It's just those moments that often take us by surprise, or those moments when we slow down and notice something. So, what was it? And how did it make you feel? And how did it affect or change you? So we're going to we'll take about 5 minutes. It's not very long, but I'm just going to invite you to take a moment, reflect on that, write about it. And perfect. Jeannie's put it in the chat for you, so we have that questions. Thank you, Jeannie. Great job.